welcome to the Property Show. This is your complete guide to investing in real estate. In the next 1 hour, you can look forward to our expert advice on which projects to buy, which locations are the best, and of course, the big market trends that you need to watch out for. Sameer Jasuja joins us with his expert inputs to solve your queries. So pick up the phone, give us a call, or just send us an email at property@ndtv.com. You can also send us an SMS at 56388. All right, let's get going on what's on the show today. We've got Bangalore first up, and the city gets an overdose of new launches, impact of that on price appreciation in the coming days. Then, of course, we move on to Hyderabad and cull out some villa options for you in a budget of 2 crore. Gurgaon, what are the best buys in a budget of 80 lakh rupees? We also take a look at the Greater Noida market and budget options 30 lakh. Thane, we come down in a more modest budget at 40 to 45, and Pune also similar budget. Best properties that you can look at. We'll focus a bit on South Bangalore and Hyderabad, are two cities we're going to touch upon. But let's focus on Bangalore first. If there's one city which has been hailed as the benchmark of real estate development, it undoubtedly is Bangalore. And new project launches across segments of Bangalore's residential market will continue thanks to the steady demand. A recent report, though, indicates an oversupply situation soon in the premium and luxury housing segments. Here's a report on what could happen going forward.
Despite Bangalore's infrastructure being unable to keep pace with the rapid population growth and economic development, the city's residential housing market continues to see steady growth this year. According to a recent report by real estate consultancy Vestian, the first half of 2013 saw nearly 26,620 units being launched, with absorption at 18,076 units. The majority of these new launches were in the premium segment, ranging from 50 lakh rupees to 1 crore rupees. The remaining were in the mid-segment, from 25 lakh rupees to 50 lakh rupees, and the luxury segment between 1 crore to 5 crore rupees. Surprisingly, launches in the budget segment below 25 lakh rupees and the super luxury segment of 5 crore rupees and above were less than 1% of the total number of units launched. But the report indicates that if the launches continue at the same levels, there will be an oversupply situation in the premium and luxury segments by 2014. Developers admit demand has recovered post-Diwali, but are still cautious about new launches in the super luxury segment.
Last 4 or 5 months before Diwali has been a little sluggish, and Diwali and after Diwali we have seen an increased demand in Bangalore. And even the appreciation in Bangalore on the residential front has not been very, very high, unlike other cities.
And you must know how to home in on the right buyer, because it's a very exclusive signature version set of properties. You're not selling vanilla. You're not selling 600 apartments in an apartment block, in a project, right? So when you have to craft your marketing plan to choose these customers, well, you need to bring, therefore, the kind of professional talent and ability that it requires.
The report also shows capital values for residential projects in Bangalore seeing an increase of 5% to 25% across micro markets, with Tumkur Road, ORR Sarjapur and Whitefield showing the highest appreciation. The annual average rental yield in Bangalore also ranged between 3% and 7%, with Bangalore North and Whitefield offering the best returns. As expected, Bangalore North saw the highest number of launches, accounting for 20% of the total units launched. Whitefield and ORR Sarjapur were among the other micro markets to see high activity. Surprisingly, Banirghata Road, Mysore Road and Kanakpura Road saw fewer launches. The report indicates favorable government regulations and improving infrastructure will promote development in medium to long term towards Bangalore North.
Again, we're going back to the infrastructure, the international airport being located in that part of town, and a lot of the IT activity also happening in terms of the office spaces happening in the North Bangalore. That's a virgin part of Bangalore city. That's the reason it is witnessing a phenomenal demand.
Bangalore is also seeing new projects from national realty players and REITs, the address makers Olympia Group, Supertech and Sahara Group. With the success of integrated townships like Brigade Gateway and Prestige Shantiniketan, more mixed-use integrated township projects are also on the anvil in Bangalore. With Balakrishnan in Bangalore, Nikhil Shivdas, NDTV.
Data, of course, is indicating that Bangalore market is slowing down, at least for the premium and luxury segment. Let's delve into that matter a little bit more. Shrinivas Rao, CEO Asia Pacific, Vestian, and Manoj Singh, Head Business Development, commonflow.com, join me as we discuss the Bangalore city. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. Shrinivas, I'm going to come to you because the report that we based our story on is, of course, yours. So tell me, I mean, you talk to any developer and most of them say, yes, sales have slowed down, but there's nothing to worry about. Is there something to worry? I would believe that even Bangalore market is beginning to show a lot of stress.
Manisha, basically you will have to, if you look at the statistics, anything greater than 1.5 times the flats that have not been occupied or not sold is a cause for worry. Anything greater than 1.5. Currently, Bangalore market, the number is between 1.2 to 1.4. So hence, I don't see too much of worry for the developer because they still have a 3-year period for them to sell the unsold flats, basically, and the under construction flats.
What is this 1.5? How do you decode that 1.5? Because, on the show we take an inventory overhang figure and we say, hey, if the velocity of sales has slowed down and you can't even sell a flat in 24 months or above that, then that's the time where it's a red flag. How do you decode 1.5?
See, currently, the way we look at it is that the number of unsold flats vis-a-vis the launches is about 1.5 times the actual absorption, we're still okay. So from that standpoint, because during the construction phase of 36 months, you still have the opportunity to sell these apartments. And normally what we have seen in Bangalore is that when the launch happens, there is a 20 to 30% booking. Post that, during the 24-month cycle, like you rightly pointed out, is when you see about 60% sales. The last 10% is in the last 12 months during the final construction.
Manoj, come in here. I mean, in NCR sitting here, we definitely know that there's an absolute slowdown in terms of transaction. In Bangalore market, is that visible? Do you see that people are more hesitant in committing their money today? Or do you think, that entire philosophy that Bangalore is an end-user market and therefore protected from a downside is actually in play right now?
Yes, so Manisha, as you rightly pointed out, other cities are seeing a bit of a slowdown. But in comparison to that, if you look at the Bangalore data, I would refer to a report recently published by commonflow.com. And for the Q3, what we are seeing is once we dig deep into the data for the recent new launches, right? So what we are seeing is 26% of the projects which are getting launched are less than 50 units. More than 55% of the projects are which are getting launched are in less than 100 units, right? So developers are being actually cautious, looking at the demand from the user side and looking at their pocket size. And the second thing is what is interesting thing, what is happening is if you look at the unit sizes of the 1 BHK apartment, which is now in the range of 700 to 750 square feet, and if you look at the 2 BHK unit size apartments, which are in the range of 1100 to 1150 square feet, which is at par with the other cities, other metro cities. But if you look at the pricing, average pricing of the 1 BHK apartment is still at the level of 25 lakhs. And if you look at the pricing of the 2 BHK apartment, it's still at the level of 49 lakhs, which shows a very positive sign. It's a trend which gives an indication that developers are planning the new launches as per the market requirements and looking at the budget requirement of the end users. Okay. So that way, if you look at the market is moving in the right direction and the growth, the numbers are pretty healthy.
All right. So, interesting to, hear out both these gentlemen. So, no panic yet in Bangalore market. And I would, because it's traditionally considered a more end-user market, perhaps that's the reason. But developers also moving into the safe zone, not going with too many luxury projects, sticking with that sweet spot of about 50 lakh rupees. These are generally strategies which are used every time real estate goes through a downturn.
These are very scary signs, I would say.
Signs.
Yeah, because I think everybody has been feeling that Bangalore market has been doing exceptionally well. And
it has. I mean, it's exceptionally well, not in terms of price rise, but exceptionally well in terms of quality, new launches, micro markets developing, all of that, isn't it?
If you look at it from a pan-India perspective, and I'll give you a new kind of a way of looking at Bangalore. It's not a very big market. It's 40 to 45,000 units a year compared to even a Noida, which sells probably 50 to 60,000 units a year, being one-fifth the size of Bangalore. And it's been fairly consistent. But my view is that it is not a market which can afford real luxury developments. It is an affordable to mid-market. The price points of Bangalore now have reached a level where price appreciation is going to be difficult. Going forward, it's not going to be that easy because I think average price points are 4,000 to 6,000 rupees a square feet.
Right.
And my concern is that now slowdown has started to happen in Bangalore as well. So
okay, so slowdown. Srinivas, come in here. You know, your report mentions a very wide range in terms of how prices have moved in Bangalore, and I would assume that. I mean, different micro markets would go up differently, but 5 to 25% is a huge range. So in the last 1 year, and even with the trends that you're seeing, which markets do you think would be able to ride out any kind of turmoil that we might see going forward? Which are the markets which have a strong base in terms of pricing for them?
See, traditionally we have seen the ORR, Sarjapur Road, Whitefield being the markets that actually have seen the have sustained growth in the last few years. But of late, I would call North Bangalore, which is the road towards the Devanhalli airport, is the area under anticipation, under for future growth. So that I believe with almost 30% of Bangalore's new project launches happening in that market, I see that North Bangalore is probably the one that you need to bet on, and that's probably the safest bet from tiding over the the possible slowdown or in growth.
Okay, fair enough. Manoj, would you agree with that? North Bangalore, a lot of action which has probably come in much later than some of the other markets that we spoke about. That's the place to look very closely at?
Yes, exactly. So if you look at the North Bangalore, so a lot of projects, infrastructure projects are planned. And if you look at the social infrastructure also, a lot of projects are planned around that as well from the developers. So in a medium to long, in a medium run, what you can see in a couple of 3 to 4 years down the line, you can see a better livability and accessibility to the office spaces, which will eventually lead to a better overall life in the North Bangalore. Having said that, North Bangalore should be the best bet looking at the current market scenario.
Okay, very quickly, rental yields. Yes, go ahead, Sameer.
I don't agree with that because I think North Bangalore is an investor-driven market. Although there are some big IT parks over there, like the Manita Tech Park, but look at the prices, the way they've gone up. And I don't think the infrastructure over there is good enough to support that kind of pricing.
So where would you put your money?
So I would stick with the Sarjapur roads or the Sarjapur roads and electronic cities because the infrastructure is improving over there with better road networks. The metro is getting operational over there. North Bangalore, I would compare it to Dwarka Expressway.
Okay.
So it's like an investor-driven market.
You can't compare it. I mean, because right up to the airport, the road is fabulous, and
it's
there's
just
still
a road.
Lot of development.
It's just a road, and a lot of hype and a lot of future hope that because all IT parks will shift there, and it is slowly happening, but it's still very far away, and the prices don't support that. Is what I'm saying.
So you think they've run up a lot?
If you look at
Interesting. Bangalore is also becoming an investor-driven market, Manoj. That's what we are coming to a conclusion. So it's probably not the kind that you see in NCR, where you have one person trying to, play the game of 4 new launches and flip the property. But Bangalore, what we call is a long-term investor. Each IT professional wants to live in one home which he owns and also probably buy 2 more as an investment, isn't it?
So if you look at the recent trend, new kind of trend is emerging, which is like buying a property, then renting it out and moving in. That is, and the major reason behind that is the high disposable income. So having said that, what we can anticipate in the long run, there is going to be a lot of activity in the secondary sales market. Still, in a short term to medium term, we can see it's going to be an end user driven market.
All right. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'm not going to discuss commercial because it's not, something that excites most people. Everyone wants to know whether home prices are going to come down. But Shrinivas, what's your last final answer in terms of home prices per se, do you think Bangalore is going to mellow? Do you see a chance of prices actually dipping at any point of time? We already see prices coming down in northern India.
I just want to highlight one thing, which is that Bangalore creates 80,000 jobs every year, which means that there is a huge amount of migratory population that comes into Bangalore, which is your biggest, ticket that developers look for. I mean, keeping that in mind, I'm not saying in short term, yes, there is going to be some amount of correction, but from medium to long term, these markets, the ORR, Whitefield, Sarjapur Road, or for that matter, even North Bangalore, which we are all betting on because of the infrastructure improvements that the government is promising to do and doing. I think, Bangalore is still a safe bet compared to the other markets in India.
Okay, on that positive note, because it, of course, despite anything we might say, Samir and I both like that city a lot.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in on this discussion on Bangalore.